My name's Wayne Dempsey, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Thomas Alva Edison Phonograph Museum. Well, it starts off from when I was a little boy. Three sides of the family, each one owned a phonograph. And when I'd visit their place, that was the first thing I did, was a beeline to the phonograph. When I went to school at Artarmon Public School, I think it was in the 4th grade, we learnt about Thomas Alva Edison and the invention of the electric light and the phonograph, and I was very, very interested. And one day on the way to school there was the council clean-up, and there was thrown out in the street an Edison standard and a box of cylinders. But eventually I got it home, and that machine, I got it to work, and I started to amass machines, and my mum would say, "Oh, you're not bringing another one home, are you?" And I eventually filled the house. At present I've got 105 machines here, and 3,000 odd Edison cylinders, and a couple of thousand Edison diamond discs. I went to auctions and I picked them up in auction sales, in second-hand shops. There was a shop called Wildman's, and they had second-hand furniture and bric-a-brac, and my grandfather used to go over there to buy diamond disc records. And whenever you'd go to Wildman's, there was always about five machines there, and a lot of cylinder machines and boxes of cylinders, which no one was interested in at all, because it was looked upon at that time as just rubbish. Yeah, Edison was the first. Other people had tried, but they'd never got anywhere. And it was the same with electric light. The first Edison cylinders that were commercially available, they were wax records. There was master wax cylinders made, and with the master you got about 350 copies. Towards the end they'd start to get a little bit softer, and then they'd stop and they'd get the artist back again, and he'd sing the same song over again. Sometimes he'd come along and he'd sing the song about 4 times and make 4 masters. This is the Edison standard phonograph of 1905. It's equipped with what's called a signet horn, and equipped also to play the blue amberol type records that are celluloid with a plaster of Paris core. The Edison wax cylinder phonograph, it was a whole home recording outfit. You were supplied with an Edison recording head, wax blanks, a recording horn, a recording tube, playback reproducer, and you could make the records at home. You could record your friends, you could play an instrument into them, and it all came back loud and clear. They'd all been on to him at the factory to go into the disc records, and the 78s at the time were no comparison. They were scratchy, and they just didn't have the sound. So Edison went into it, and he turned out the Edison diamond disc with its silent surface. He really went about then signing up opera stars, but he found out that the big gramophone companies of Victor and Columbia had already got the best of them, and they were all tied up to contracts, and they couldn't make records for Edison. So he said, right, he said, I'm going to send my men all around the world to all the different countries, and you'll take along a wax cylinder machine, and you'll make recordings of all these artists and bring them back, which they did. And so they listened in the laboratory, they played back the wax records and listened to these various artists, and so many were put under contract, and so he got a collection of very good opera stars. Right, the Edison diamond disc records, notice the thickness of them. They're manufactured on a special core. They're practically unbreakable, and this is the reproducer. It's the heart of the instrument. That's the little diamond tip, and that's the stylus bar. Now, the stylus bar is connected to a diaphragm that is made up of cork and layer upon layer of rice paper, and it's held in place by a tuning ring with rubber or cork washers, and that diaphragm plunges in and out, and it makes the sound. Now, there's an interesting thing with the diamond disc. When you lower the reproducer, it lowers onto a feed screw, because like the cylinder, the grooves are too shallow to move the tone arm over the surface of the record. And inside, we'll take the grill out. You've got a holder for the spare reproducer. This is the gold one. And you'll see the whole horn assembly, it moves on a pivot. It swivels back and forth. And now I will lower it onto the feed screw. Watch the horn go down. It's onto the feed screw, so that will go in line with the record right over to the stop. Superb quality of the Edison diamond disc.
Longing to stay, I mean away down south in the